Imagine a place where, just staggering natural beauty meets ancient traditions, but also centuries of really complex geopolitics. That place is Kashmir. And as we dive into the sources you've given us, its story is, well, much richer, more nuanced than many people think. Have you ever had green tea that tastes like royalty and maybe resistance all at the same time?
Ah, kawa.
Exactly, Kawa. It kind of hints at the layers we're going to uncover in the wild, wondrous world of Kashmir.
Right. And for this deep dive, our mission really is to pull out the key insights from these sources you provided on Kashmir.
Hmm.
We're looking at, its incredible natural beauty, the rich culture, those complex historical challenges, and importantly, where it's heading now, that path towards resilience and hopefully hope.
Okay.
The goal is to give you a really solid, comprehensive understanding of this multifaceted region.
So, to really get a handle on Kashmir's complexities, maybe the best starting point is just to immerse ourselves, mentally at least, in its incredible natural beauty. Just picture waking up, maybe surrounded by snow-capped peaks, these serene lakes, valleys just painted with saffron fields. Can you almost see Pahalgam deep in the Himalayas, or the meadows of Gulmarg, and Dalla Lake, of course, shimmering? It's really something, isn't it?
It really is. And the sources, they emphasize how this backdrop isn't just, pretty scenery. It's woven right into the fabric of the Kashmiri people and their culture. You find these warm hearts and woolen ferns, those traditional cloaks. They're the kind of people who offer you noon chai, that salty pink tea,
Right.
and poetry almost in the same breath. The culture is so vibrant, the music, the crafts, those papier-mâché artisans doing such meticulous work.
Wow.
Actually, the sources suggest the hospitality is so generous you might gain 3 kilos and maybe 300 stories on a visit.
3 kilos and 300 stories. I like that. That sounds amazing. Do the sources give any, specific examples of how that warmth shows up? Things that might surprise someone visiting for the first time.
Yeah, they do. They really stress how immersive it is. It's not just the food, though that's a big part. It's how ready people are to share their family histories or invite you into their homes, maybe give you tips for the markets. It seems to be this deep-rooted tradition of, well, welcoming strangers.
That's captivating, really. But, beneath all that beauty and the warmth, there's this underlying tension, isn't there? An anxiety you can't quite ignore. You really feel the weight of history there. It kind of sets the stage for a very complex past.
Definitely.
Kashmir has been a crossroads for centuries, right? Persians, Mughals, even built this amazing gardens.
Yes, the gardens.
Sikhs, Dogras, they all left their mark. But the sources really highlight 1947 as this pivotal moment, a huge turning point.
Absolutely pivotal. 1947. The sources show that Kashmir's accession to India, happening amidst, tribal raids and the British leaving, it led to its division by a border, a really controversial division. And that act is still debated, reinterpreted today, depending on who you ask. It left people torn, really, by this uncertainty about their future, their identity.
Yeah.
Set the scene for so much that followed.
Right. And as we move into let's say, the more modern timeline, the sources really dig into a period of massive transformations. The 1990s, the sources describe them as Kashmir's darkest hours. Militancy surged, families had to flee.
A terrible time.
Yeah, a whole generation grew up hearing sirens, not songs. The sources paint this picture of just widespread suffering, a region scarred by conflict and often feeling unheard by the world.
Then comes 2019. Article 370, which gave Kashmir its special autonomous status since accession, was abrogated. The sources detail this huge shift on paper, integrating the region much more fully with India legally. But the real impact, of course, was on the ground. It sparked intense debates about autonomy, democratic rights, worries about demographic changes. A deeply polarizing event, no question.
That does sound like a massive shift. And the sources, they seem to show a really divided reaction. How do they portray the different viewpoints, those for it, those against it? What were the main arguments?
Well, the sources highlight the proponents argued it would bring development, integrate Kashmir properly into India, maybe reduce separatism. They pointed to, national laws applying direct central funding.
Okay, the integration argument.
Exactly. But conversely, those opposing it saw it as losing their unique identity, dismantling constitutional guarantees that protected their status. They worried about, as you said, demographic shifts, losing local control over land and resources. It's clear from the sources, both sides felt very strongly, had deeply held convictions.
I see. Yeah, despite all these huge political shifts, these historical challenges, what really comes through in the sources is this incredible quiet strength, the resilience in everyday Kashmiri life.
Yes, that quiet strength. It's clear in how life is changing today. You see cafes with Wi-Fi popping up next to places serving traditional wazwan, that amazing Kashmiri feast.
Right.
Kids are back in school. Tourism is genuinely bouncing back. You see more sports activities, more female entrepreneurs starting businesses. It shows Kashmiris haven't just, survived. They're actually thriving, dreaming, building again.
That's a really hopeful picture. Do the sources also mention any remaining hurdles, challenges these communities still face? Or is it all smooth sailing now?
They're quite candid, actually. While the progress is real and significant, challenges do persist. Economic recovery isn't even everywhere, and the psychological scars from past decades, well, they linger for some people.
Understand.
But the overall narrative in the sources really emphasizes this determination, this drive to move forward and rebuild.
So what does this mean for you if you're thinking about visiting? Let's clear up maybe the biggest misconception. Yes, you absolutely can visit Kashmir. And frankly, you probably should. Over 2 million people did just last year, apparently. And the sources say most came back raving, not just about the Kawa.
Huh? Right.
Whether you fancy skiing in Gulmarg, trekking the Aru Valley, or just, floating on a Shikara, one of those lovely wooden boats sipping kiwa under the moonlight. The options are huge.
And what the sources consistently point out is that visiting Kashmir, it's more than just a holiday. It's actually, in a way, a message.
A message? How so?
Well, your presence becomes part of the healing process for the region. You're directly supporting local artisans, sharing stories, helping to counter maybe lingering fear or misconceptions. That support goes straight to shopkeepers, artists, those growing women-led businesses we mentioned. Your presence matters, maybe more than your social media posts, Your interest helps keep traditions alive.
That's a powerful thought. Your presence matters more than your posts. Kashmir definitely sounds like a place that will make you feel things. That beauty, that complex history, it stirs the soul. But if this deep dive has got you curious about breathtaking places, just know there are other wonders nearby too.
Indeed. If Kashmir strikes a chord, then its rugged cousin to the east, Ladakh, might be next on your list. It's got this otherworldly beauty. It's rugged, it's raw, and apparently full of surprises.
Okay, Ladakh. So if your heart's still racing a bit and maybe your backpack's feeling a bit restless, don't stop here. There's even more to discover out there, including a place often called the Moonland of India. We definitely encourage you to explore further.